Join me today as I begin decorating the foyer for Christmas 2023 already. Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to another episode of Life with MaryAnn and Joe, and we are beginning our Christmas 2023 decorating. It's a long process, so we have to get started early. I know it's not for everybody, but that's how I've always done it, and it's the only way that I'm going to get done. So it is what it is. So I know a lot of people were asking me what is my themes this year, because every room has its own theme, but it's somehow, some way, I tie it all together into a cohesive batch of decor. So anyway, I'm going to start in the foyer. Now the foyer is actually going to take me the longest to do because it's so much in there that probably I'll be moving into other rooms before the foyer actually gets done. So what is the idea for the foyer? Well, this year I'm doing Santa's Sweet Shop. That's what the theme is for the foyer. Now, for those of you that know me, you know that I've done Santa's Office, which I think both MaryAnn and I really liked. I did Mrs. Claus's She Shed one year. Remember that, for those of you that watch? And this year I'm doing Santa's Sweet Shop. So I'm going to be working today over the front door, not on top of the closets yet, but over the front door. So I hope you enjoyed this video and the process. Don't forget, please subscribe. It's free. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Drop me a comment. I read them all. I try to answer them all. Even if I send you a heart, I did read them. And try to watch till the end. And if you can't, let it run, because believe it or not, YouTube is watching that, and that's how they suggest the video. So thanks a lot, and stay tuned for Santa's Sweet Shop Part 1 of many. People that know me, you know that I'm kind of a stickler for details, and I try to put many little details in for those that are curious, for them to enjoy. But to be honest with you, when you're working in an area like I'm working on today, which is so high, it's like 10 feet and above, you're going to lose details. So you have to think more in the respect that larger things, or bigger groups of things, and so on, because it's going to get lost up there. To be honest with you, very few people that come here actually look at the details. I mean, you guys that are watching, if you stopped over, you would be looking at the details. If I went to somebody's house, I would be looking at the small details. But that's not what happens. People come in and just take, an overview. It's the impression that it gives them. So, I mean, not that I'm decorating for people, but, I want it to be appealing. But I'm also being realistic that I'm not going to be going crazy in an area that is so far away that nobody's going to notice anything. And to be honest with you, when people come in the front door and they get whammed by the big tree there, they kind of get mesmerized by that, and they miss every single thing else. And actually, a lot of people never even notice what's going on over the door and over the closets, which is crazy. It's like sometimes if they come upstairs, when they're coming down, then they notice it, or by chance they'll notice it. But a lot of times they don't. So I'm gonna make an impact, but I'm not gonna waste all my good stuff up there either. I'm gonna save that for down low where people can see things. All right, so I have this up. I had to put a nail in the middle and then at each end, because this garland tends to get heavy. So I'm going to hang a wreath in the middle there, and then I'm going to put the lights in there, I think. So here's some of the ornaments I'm using: red and white ornaments, the peppermints that I made last year, some candy ornaments, and I have some gingerbread here, and cupcakes that I made with expandable foam. This might be the last year for these. All right, so my method is always to start from the center and move out to the sides with an idea of what I'm going to do on the sides at the same time. So what I did was I had a piece that I made from last year, which I'll show you right now. All right, so that was actually an arched piece of garland. I forgot where we bought it. Maybe Michael's, I'm not even sure. And then what I did was I added garland to each end of it to make it look kind of like it's dripping. And then I had made that arrangement last year and I kept it because I really liked it and I knew I was going to use it again this year. So I put that in the middle. I started with that. And then what I'll do is I'll begin to embellish more after I put the lights on. Once again, this is the area that I'm gonna be working on over the door. And the first thing I'm gonna do is put in this gingerbread house that we made a few years back. It's actually made out of cardboard that's hot glued together, and then the puffy paint from Walmart, it makes it look like icing, and then embellished it with some other like snowflakes and striped straws and things like that we picked up. And then I Mod Podged the whole thing and I put the crystal glitter on it so that it looked all sugary. And it actually looks like a gingerbread house from far away. In order for it to stay where I want it to stay, I had to put floral wire to keep it in place. On each side of it, I put two gingerbread people. You see one on the right and one on the left. Next in was the lights. I used 200 mini white lights and 200 mini red lights to give it that candy cane kind of a look. Okay, so now that the lights are on, I chose red and white because I wanted, it's Santa's sweet shop, so I want to give it that pepperminty kind of a look. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start loading into the middle. But before that, I'm going to add ribbons as coming out, and I want to do it in a very organic fashion. And what does that mean? That means that it's not so contrived, more that it looks like it's ebbing and flowing through the piece. And again, I'm not going to go crazy with the ribbons up there either. It's just going to be a highlight in the piece. I'm going to use these giant peppermint candies that I made from white pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. Just painted those red stripes on them, and I'm going to put them at each end on this piece. And I'm also going to use Mr. and Miss Gingerbread Chef that I made last year. I didn't use them, but I made them, so I figured I'm going to use them now. And I think they look good at each end of this garland. Okay, so I went ahead. Now what I'm doing is I'm working on one side because this way it's easier for me to change. So I work on the one side and then I recreate it on the other side, which is always a little bit of, challenge, but whatever. So anyway, last thing you saw was the chef gingerbread. And what I then added in were these white berries right here, which are from the Dollar Tree, and I just kind of bent them so they look a little bit more organic. And then I stuck in this right here, which is this candied fruit with these white again right here, and then underneath the big peppermint candy, I put a this pine with a very it's encrusted so that it picks up a lot of light. And I put one on this side and then one coming out the other side. And then in there, you can see I have a styrofoam ball, which is wrapped in red cellophane, and it looks like a candy. And I'm going to add more of those, obviously. And I have a cupcake up here as well that I made with that expandable spray foam. And then I put a couple of, what do you call them? Candy canes right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue working down this piece so that I can go to the other side, and then I'll address the middle, these pieces down here. Okay, so here's just an overview of the things that I'm using on the right side, same as I used on the left side. You know, it's just not being captured correctly on video, but I hope you get the idea. It is very sweet, and it's like I said, it's not very detail oriented, although it does have a lot of details in it, but it is the beginning of my Santa's Sweet Shop Foyer. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video and the beginning of our Christmas series. So don't forget, look for us on Facebook at Life with MaryAnn and Joe, and on Instagram at Designs by _Joe.